Conversations to do with racism, white supremacy, they've never been really mainstream here in Kenya. It's not something you would hear casually in public discourse, but lately something has shifted. In every 5 conversations, you will hear people talking about which restaurant is locking out Kenyans and they're favoring white people. Or you will hear conversations, for example, they're talking about foreign accent opening doors faster than local accent. You will hear things like why are certain spaces suddenly becoming exclusive when locals show up. But these conversations, they're suddenly it's becoming a pattern. It's not like people are not hush about it anymore. And especially this has actually happened after the recent saga involving the Russian man with Kenyan women and also Ghana women. What happened is this Russian man was luring women in his apartments and sleeping with them and taking videos and posting on social media. Now people are openly talking about racism. Now people are openly talking about how crippled some of us, our mindsets are. And suddenly, the government is talking about racism, talking about colonization. Never in my many years of living on this earth and in Kenya, of course, I'll not tell you how old I am, but in my many years, I've never had a motion tabled in Parliament talking about colonization, talking about racism, talking about raising awareness and teaching our women about embracing Africans, talking about raising awareness and teaching our women about teaching them that dating Africans, it's not a downgrade. Dating Africans or Africa is not a limitation. Now, the government has taken it upon itself and they've tabled a motion in Parliament to raise awareness and to teach women in Kenya. Honestly, this is a first. And I'm actually happy about this. I'm honestly happy. When the government of Ghana talked about protecting its women, when they told people that you cannot share those videos, you cannot share those images, and we have plans to arrest this guy. What they were doing they were protecting their women. And, at some point I was asking myself, honestly, Kenyan women, they already have a bad image out there. So what is the government of Kenya doing about it? Okay, fine. We can argue and say that it was mutual, that these women were not forced, to go to their apartments, and no one forced these women to sleep with this guy. But at the end of the day, they are women. They are our women, and we need to do some damage control. And I'm happy. My answers are honestly answered. My questions, lastly, they've been answered honestly. And, it's one way of showing that we care about our women. I'm happy about the government of Kenya. Listen to this.
We see the way this has now been spoken about, the Russian person case. Madam Speaker, it also brings the issues of racism, because we need to speak to such issues. Because there are people who want to exploit the vulnerability of poor African people by coming in here, seeing that women are so poor. People are thinking, and then because we have not nurtured and trained our people, that we are beautiful enough as black people, the moment you see a white person, you think that they are heaven on earth. And I want to challenge our women that we need to see our men in Kenya as good enough. Why we look at men in Africa, see them as good enough? Not everybody who is white is heaven on earth. I'm not saying white people, there's something wrong with white people, but we need to guard against certain forms of neo-colonization, where people come here and ridicule and shame African women and misuse them. If you have sex with somebody in private, why do you want to make it a public affair? It's not anybody's business. But that is why, Madam Speaker, I don't want to talk about the name regulation, because when you talk regulation, people misunderstand. But for sure, there are certain content that should not reach us. Madam Speaker, I see nowadays, sometimes you just click on something, suddenly you see young children having sex in pools. How is that even possible? Such certain things should not even be regulated against young people. It should not come to my page if I don't want to see it. So there are certain things we must be very brave as a house and confront these issues head on. Thank you, Madam.
You know, thinking about this kind of mindset, I dare to say that it's a taught, internalized, and reinforced mindset. Since colonialism, Africans were taught that white is better than black, and that changed the way they see themselves. For generations, Africans were conditioned, subtly and directly, to believe that white is better than black. The proximity to whiteness meant nothing. The proximity to whiteness meant progress. That foreign approval meant elevation. Colonialism did not just reshape borders, it reshaped perception. It distorted how Africans saw themselves, their beauty, their intelligence, their worth.
When a white man comes to Africa and orders all our women to take their clothes off and they do it, that obsession is not because the white man is better than Africans. It is because it was taught and internalized in the African mind ever since colonialism that the white man is always better than the African man.
But slowly, I see light at the end of the tunnel. When the government starts talking, when society starts questioning some beliefs, and when we start having conversations like this, slowly there's something that will shift, and the African mind can be decolonized, and narratives, we can change some narratives. And if we continue challenging this mindset and this narrative in our homes, in policy, then the African mindset is not completely broken. My takeaway for this one, if the government is beginning to speak, then society must begin to reflect, because protection is policy and dignity is personal. Anyway, my name is Wangari Njuguna. Have you subscribed to my YouTube channel, Wangari Njuguna? I'll appreciate. Also, remember to download our app and sign up today for the latest news right at your fingertips. Also, remember to leave your comment. I'll be waiting to see what you have to say about this one. I'll see you in the next one. Kwaheri.